everybody. So this past month has been a pretty good one. I got my coronavirus vaccine. So I'm in the line going to get my vaccine. I guess this is the line that we're supposed to be waiting in before we go get vaccinated. And then we just kind of chill and wait until it's time for us to go to those tents and then get the shot. I remember seeing on the news that they said that a lot less people are getting their second vaccination. I would assume a lot of them either went somewhere else or just like didn't get it again. I was able to go do a trip to Austin with one of my friends. That was really cool. I've been wanting to go to that city since I moved to Dallas, so loved it. Maybe I'll live there one day. I also went to Chicago and visited my best friend from college. It was so much fun. She was able to show me all around the city. I've been there a few times before, but it's just different when you go. And I don't know, a city feels a lot different depending on the people that you're with that are showing you things, right? So if I went there again and was given tours by someone else, it would have its own different feel based off that person. Okay, smile. Okay, now strike a pose.
I don't even know what to do.
Just like be sassy.
No, wait. People usually dance.
What, Heidi? Ooh.
Here,
Also, I was able to take care of one of my friend's dogs for the day and pretend that I was a dog owner, which I absolutely love. So if you are watching this video, the odds are at some point you've questioned whether or not the job that you're in or have been in is not for you. So what I'm gonna do is break down 10 signs that I've come up with that would indicate if a job is not for you. If you feel like you've come up with some of your own, throw them in the comments for people to see, and we can discuss. Sign number one is probably one of the more obvious ones, right? So sign number one is your work is boring. So if you're going to work every single day and you're in one of those roles where you work in an office or some sort of work setting and you go in and you just sit there at this desk all day trying to kill time and you're watching your clock and you're like, oh my God, I have 6 hours left of work. What am I gonna do for 6 more hours? That's awful, right? You wanna always have things to do, most people want to always have things to do that are meaningful, that they see the value in, and that make the time go by fast in a positive way. So that's sign number one. Sign number two, your contributions are not recognized. This is a big one for me and a lot of people that I know. When you are working and putting in so much effort and so much energy into whatever it is that you're working on, and then once you finish it and hand it off, it feels really, really good when somebody just says, just something that lets you know, hey, I appreciate the work that you're doing, you're valued, keep killing it, right? Or maybe you're not killing it and you need to have some sort of discussion about that. If your contributions are not recognized and that's the continuous thing that you're seeing just across the board, that company might not be conducive to what you want to get out of that, right? Sign number three, you don't see a career path or any opportunity for potential advancement in the near future or just the future in general. If you're a career-oriented type of person, you want to have some sort of plan in your head or some sort of idea of what your career is going to look like. And if you don't see that, or you don't see other people doing those types of things and advancing in the ways that you want to eventually, that might be an indication that you might be hitting a roadblock at your job or your career. And the first step of that would obviously be to talk to your manager or boss or upper leadership and express that to them, right? But if you're in a situation where nobody is receptive to you, it might be time to start looking for something a little bit different that you will get that aspect out of. Sign number four, this is a big one for me, right? Sign number four is you don't align with the culture. If you don't agree with or align with the mission of the company or the morals of that company, the trickle down of that culture is probably not going to be conducive to what you would want it to be. Culture is something that could be based on location or based on the organization in general. And if you feel as though you're not getting what you want out of that culture and your contributions are just like a black hole to it, that is something that could really wear and burn people out, and that's a sign that maybe you should start looking at something a little different. Sign number five, your boss does not manage in a style that you are receptive to. Now, some people take the approach where it's like, my boss has his leadership style, I will be adaptable to whatever it is that they need. That's great, right? If you're an adaptable person as a subordinate, that's fantastic. I also think in a good leader, they also know how to motivate their employees, and they can kind of change the way that they motivate or coach or just approach in general their subordinates in a way that they know is going to be the most effective, right? Because it's not a one size fits all. I know that sometimes that's not realistic, but I feel as though if you're the type of person that feels like the type of feedback or the manner in which you're given feedback or guided or coached is just totally out of line. You're gonna get into that mode where you're going to work every day, dreading being around somebody that just is awful to be around, right? And who wants to do that every single day, especially if it's your boss? Number 6, the location is not ideal. So if you are working for a company and you get assigned to go live in some other city or some other state that you just hate, I say it's okay to do it, try it out, do it for a little while, right? But if it's totally wearing on you, obviously advocate for yourself, make that be known, and see what can be done about that. And if nothing can be done about that, and it's just an indefinite amount of time, and you know that you're gonna hate where it is that you have to live and work, why would you keep yourself in that situation if you have the ability to search for and apply to other roles outside of that realm, organization, or company, right? It gets into that self-advocation type of thing where if you let yourself be in a situation that you're not happy in, you're just gonna keep not being happy, right? You don't owe anybody anything. You are the only person experiencing your reality. And if your reality sucks and you can pinpoint exactly why, let's work on making those changes to fix it. And if that's location, then let's try to figure out how we can remove ourselves from that location and go somewhere we know we're gonna be happier. Number 7, you do not feel secure in the role. I think a lot of people can relate to this because of the layoffs and downsizes that happened with COVID last year and even still this year. If you don't feel secure in your role, it's not gonna be motivating to you to come in. You're gonna feel like there's no purpose in doing your job because you might feel like I've gotta do so much work and so much effort so I don't get cut. Or you might be like, man, I'm just gonna get cut anyway. What's the point in this? There's no motivation. And that's awful. And that is so hard to get out of. Sign number 8, do you feel like you're at a point where your income is not increasing and you look back X amount of years and you're just like, whoa, I still am making barely more than what I did 5 years ago? I would challenge you to self-advocate. And if you feel like that nobody is receptive and that's just gonna go nowhere, that's a sign that you've reached your maximum capacity with that job and you're ready to go be valuable and be valued somewhere else. Number 9, having a work-life balance feels impossible. Now, some people don't necessarily mind this because maybe their entire life is work and they love that. And maybe some people really do mind this because they like the extra content that they can get outside of work with friends, family, relationships, their pets even, traveling, or just laying on the couch, just chilling. And that's super important, right? You should have that balance. And if you feel like it is a permanent just structure of the culture of that company that nobody has a balance, then that is probably something that you should consider removing yourself from in whatever manner that is, right? Seeking another role in that company or going somewhere else, because that's just gonna burn you out and that's just gonna lead to a whole other set of issues. And I think that everybody has been in a situation at some point or even right now where they feel like maintaining a work-life balance is very hard or even impossible. So my final sign number 10, is you do not admire or feel a connection with anybody like around you, your coworkers and whatnot. And I say that not because you necessarily need to work somewhere where you admire everybody and you think everyone is great, but you want to at least have a few people that you can look up to and say, you know, maybe you're younger in your career and you want to look up to certain people and say, I want to embody that. I admire the way they lead. I admire their skill. I admire their intelligence. I want to work to become that model, right? And for some people, you might be at a point in your career where you were that person for everybody else, and that's amazing. But other people like me who are relatively young in their career, you know, I like to have people around me that I can look up to and be like, oh wow, like I really like the way that that girl or that guy is doing X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna make it a conscious effort and a point to do that too. So those are my 10 signs that a job might not be right for you. Take them or leave them as they are. I think that it's really good to kind of assess those points every now and then as you progress in your career, just to make sure that you don't let those types of things slip away from you. That is the end of the video. My outros are absolutely awful as I go back and rewatch them. I just, that's not a skill that I have. So anyways, until the next video, that is it for this one.